welcome back to Oakley Hour, and we are on day 7 of our coffee house build. Yesterday we got all these little bits done, also started on the walls, and as you can see, if I move these to one side, some of them do have 2 sides to them, so you've got some wood on this side. So the method that I used for cutting them isn't perfect, it's just better than I would do with a pair of scissors basically. So yeah, there you have it, and it's all ready to rock and roll. So let's get building, and hopefully today we can get a lot of the structure done and some of the small stuff in place. I will be back in a mo. Tried a few things and I don't really have the clamps to do it, so what I've got is it to one side lying on its end so that gravity does its thing. Right, next we are going to put some window frames in, and they go on the outside of the wall, so you've got this on the inside, this on the outside. So we're just going to stick these frames in. There's no plastic or anything for them, just double checking myself right now. I wonder if they actually go... No, of course they're not going to go inside, it's way too big. So I think they literally just go on the outside. Just making sure. Yeah. So just making sure we can see through. So if you've got any trimming to do on this, like I probably should have done that on that one, then I suggest you do it before you put your frame in. You'll be able to do it afterwards too if you're careful. Okay, and then this one, I'm just going to glue the actual part. And then this wall's due to go in as well, so I'm going to have to give that a few minutes for the other one to take. And then we'll get this one on, because that's the next part of it. And then we'll be able to put a few things inside, I'm thinking, before we do any more walls and stuff. Actually, maybe one more wall. So again, just try and line it up the best you can. And that will be that. You can see there's quite a bit of paper on this one over. So I'll probably go and tidy that up when this is set. Alright, I'm going to just leave those to one side for now, and we will get on and do another piece which I haven't actually got ready. So I was thinking ahead, but not that far ahead. So while this is just sitting for a moment, then I'm going to tidy up that paper on the inside of it. While we do that, I will get the next structure ready. Alright, so while that's all taken, we are going to be building some strange stuff, which some of it I don't, well, like, I don't know what this is for. Most of it I can tell what it's for. So all we are doing with this is putting these two together, and then we're putting it to one side. Reminds me of, gosh, what were we doing? Oh, the marble one. And every time I was doing something, it was like, and then we put it to one side. But I'm sure that's not how this is going to go, although we've got a few coming up like it. So I'm just going to hold this together with a paper clip to make sure it's in place and even. So I'm just using wood glue for all this. If I can do it, I will. Oh, got a hair on there. Dogs. Okay, so not something like that, but that. There's a few weird shaped pieces like this actually. Well, at least two. Okay, so I have it on and I was going to push it too, and that should work. And then we are moving on to doing a frame. So let me get some more paper ready to go and some crocodile clips. Okay, so we start with the wider of the two frames and they're just going to join in here. So I think I'm just going to get my paper ready for clamping this. Or maybe I'll just clamp it without holding the paper, because the paper isn't very straight, so it's not very helpful. We make sure it isn't over the edge. That'll probably be okay. And again, if I just put it on for even a short amount of time, it should help. Like so. And then the same with the other end. And we're just using the thicker one, and then we're going to do the same with the thinner one, and then we're going to put them on top of each other. So again, I'm just going to clamp them together and hope and pray that I'll be able to get them off when I need to. This one's not on very well. Okay, that looks right. And then the same with the smaller one, and this one will actually go on top of that, so when it's all dry they can have a party and join together. And like I say, I'm not going to use those clips on for long, because I'm doing it without the paper and I don't want them to stick to it, because that would be weird. Well, it'd be a disaster really. This one's probably not a tight paper clip, I'm reckoning. We could probably just leave it on the side and it should work. Maybe we'll just do that, because I was having trouble anyway. Although that's already moved. It's me who keeps moving it. Can't blame anyone else. Right, and then the same with this one. That's right, I swear I put 6 of these clips out and I can only see 5. Okay. And that should roughly be right, but I'm not going to leave them long, like I say, just a little bit. Right, next we're going to make several basically frames, like window frames. I'm going to make 3. So in this, so do they go on the, which ones go where? So they go on the inside of the smaller one, so like so. Like so, she says, and she can't even get them off. And then another long one, and we make 3 of these. So I'm going to get that done, and I'll be back when they're all ready to rock and roll. And I know we've got several pieces of wood walls to put in as well, and then we get some decorating done. I don't even know where these go, but this is the order that they have you do it. Well, kind of. They have you do the walls that I need to do down at the bottom first. Okay, just make sure that they're lined up. Alright, I'm going to get and do the other 2, and I will be back when everything's dry. I will probably put this one on top of this one and go through that with you as well, so that you know how it went. Alright, so this should be set. All of it should actually. It's been a little while, so let me take these clamps off and we will, and it falls straight off. Well, what do you know? That's what I get for saying it. Alright, so let's have a moment. I don't think it's fully set, any stretch of the imagination, but we should be okay. So then we want this one to go like so, and it goes on top of this one, so it'd just be on the inside here like this. So get that glue going, just putting some wood glue on the edge. Wow, I'm so bad at doing straight lines. Like, you know, what's a straight line, right? Oh, and the bottom would be good. And because this isn't fully set, I just want to make sure that one holds that in place. Okay, and clean that up, especially down here. Now turn it to me. I see what you were saying. That wasn't straight, was it? At all. I'm just going to get any excess off. Okay. Then we do some other bits and pieces. So we're going to be putting this one in, which goes the other side of that sign. Now it doesn't give us any measurements, so it is a little bit of guesswork here as to where there are. So obviously if you had the music box, it would be actually at the top here, and you would have cut your holes into it now and put your music box in as well. And I'm going to get this one ready and put it where I think it's going to go, and get the other pieces on quite quick because it still have time to move. So this side of it doesn't have any wallpaper on, so I think it's kind of going to go so that it sits square with near that sign on the inside there, so that coffee sign. But it could very well, we could try and make it even actually. I'm not 100% sure, it doesn't give me any measurements, so but this would be more even with the other side and how it is. But we are going to put some other wall pieces on which will even it out before it dries. So next we will have this one which will go in front. Does it actually go in front of it, or it goes in front of it? So we need to put glue on here. Which is not my strong point, doing things like that vertically, as you can see. And then it has a couple of posters, I'm guessing with some sort of affirmations on there. Let me show you. Here you go. Okay, and that goes on here. And line up the best you can. And again, something like so. Doesn't look very straight, does it? I can see it's not very straight. So I'm kind of going a bit on the floor pattern for straightness. Then we are going to put number 6 on the other side of it. And that goes on the inside as well. So I'm going to glue this time. and this would hold the, I think it's going to hold the battery box as well, but obviously if you had the music it would be behind this. Now it does have two tiny pieces evidently with it, but I don't have them, and I don't know why, because I know I wouldn't have lost any of that. So I'm just going to line that up, have it face me for a second, get rid of all the glue. So it goes something like so. Then we are going to, so glue-fied, isn't it? You're not going to see this anyway, to be honest with you. It's going to be pretty much covered by like a bookshelf. Then we will be doing, so that's number 6, then we're going to put number 7 in, which is going to go across, and number 7 butts up to it, like so. So let's put glue on there, and then we'll put the other end piece in. I'm not sure, like I say, what those two pieces, there's actually two pieces which it shows on the parts, but I don't seem to have. I've looked, so I'm going to hope that they're not going to be important. And this goes on here, so lining that up with that, which hopefully is becoming reasonably square until I do that. Okay, so something like that. Got lots of glue all over the place. And then we put that end on, which has this sort of wall, and this is why I know it's where the battery box goes, so it's going to butt up against this one and then be something like so. Okay, so let's get some glue on the end. Then I'm going to get some glue on this piece, well, certainly on this piece. I know I just tried it, I can't remember where the line was for it. Okay, on the inside maybe. And I'm going to do some on here because I don't know. It's kind of a bit difficult to tell. And that goes in here. And again, get it as square as you can. Whoops, as I move everything. Try not to move everything. And that's way too far in. That was too far away. I'm trying to use the floor as my guide as to where this is meant to be going. So it's kind of telling me that not everything's as square as it should be already. Okay, it went there. So something like so, and that's what you will end up with, like this. And this needs to go back a tiny bit. And now the wood glue's quite sticky, so it's not a bad thing. Fortunately, down here is going to be bookshelves, so or just shelving areas, which is going to house a lot of the small stuff that we've done. Alright, and after that it gets us to do all the other bits and pieces, but I think what I'm going to do is get those shelves in, the bits in which is going to go in those shelves, so that we can make sure that they fit before that glue dries. And let me see what's going to go in first and what the shelves consist of, if they show it. Okay, I'm just trying to check here quickly. Doesn't really show what they are, so I do have some blocks. I'm assuming those are it, and I will get those bits and pieces ready to go in. So we start off actually with the little sacks at the bottom. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shelves. So let me go grab those. Alright, and this will kind of make everything square by putting these in. That's my thoughts anyway. I had separated it because I was going to put some other stuff in first, but I think I'm going to start here. Right, so we need our 2 little sacks, and they're going to be upright in there. One leaning against the wall, and the other one not, basically, just in front of it. Okay, I'm going to use tacky glue for this. I'm going to face it towards me for a moment. And then once I get the lid off, and then I'll show you how it looks. Okay. Oh. So we have the sacks in down there, and I put this shelf on. Now I'm going to add 2 more boxes and put another shelf on. I'm actually using super glue for the shelves because they're not going to stay up otherwise. So I will let you have a look once I've done that. I need it kind of facing towards me, so there's nothing really for you to see other than the back of it, and that's pretty boring. Okay, and now we got 3 shelves done. Out of interest, it shows really not much guidance in the book whatsoever, so you can probably put it in any order that you want, but I'm kind of, which I'm, I guess, kind of doing. So next I'm going to add some more, and I'm going to keep going up, and I'll show you at the end. The ice cream goes right on the top shelf. I mean, wouldn't it melt if that was really ice cream? Maybe it's cookie dough. So that's what I ended up doing. I'm sure you could probably design it however you want. The only difference was I did end up with a shelf over, so I probably wasn't tight enough to some of the items, but I think it looks alright. That's what I'm going with. It looks something like that. No clue. Even it shows on there that the orange juice looks like it's lying down. That's this one, or next to this one here. And it looks like it's lying down in theirs too. Don't know why. Right, moving on. We're going to put some more stuff together that we have made inside before we move on to the next section. So bear with me, and I'm going to go and grab that stuff. Alright, so what we are going to do is this one here goes to the back on this side. So I'll get that one in. And I reckon it's just going to touch on the white shelf here. Make sure I glue the right side here. And the bottom. Side I originally put the wall on, so let me face it to me a second. Something like that. Let me just make sure that's reasonably straight. So something like so, and I can see that my wall is slightly not straight there. See at the bottom there, but you're not really going to notice in the end. This one goes along here, so let's get that one glued and ready to go. It's like most of these things, you know, you put a lot of detail in them, but there's very little that really shows. Sorry if you hear crunching, it's puppy eating. Something like so, and then we are going to put the counter in, the cake counter, right in the front there. So let me get that done. Something like so, and then the table and chairs will go here, so I will get those in. And then I'm not going to put any more in until I put the second floor in, because I need to put a light in and everything, so I will wait on doing that. So let's get this in now. So I went with something like that. I'm sure you can put many different designs on it, but that was kind of mine. So this is how we are looking. I'm going to have a great big frame going over. That's what those pieces of wood were. And I think we have to do that next, actually, before we do the upstairs, because I think the floor attaches to a part of it. So let me have a look at what we're doing there. And there's a piece of wood that goes, yeah, we're going to need to do the frame next. So I think after me saying that I was going to do that, I'm actually going to do all the lights and get those out the way. And I have a couple of other paper things to knock out first. And it'll make more sense to you in a moment. You agree? Right? Alright, first thing we need to do is I'm going to put a ceiling light on the other side of this. But we need to cut off a corner on the long side on the right. So this will go on the back, on the top shelf. I don't think this is particularly the best tool for this job at all. I don't really have much else. Let me see what I can find. Okay, I ended up using these and got through. It's probably a bit bigger than it needs to be, so if you can get it smaller, it's probably a good thing. Okay, so let's start with the light itself. So we are going to put the light through the wire. Let's get rid of that. Light through here. And it's a small hole and a bigger hole. And it goes through the smaller area all the way. So I'm actually using the wire. Am I using the wire we got cut? No, because we need that one. So I'm going to use this one. And then I'm going to put some B7000 on this. Get this flooring out the way. And then we are wrapping the black around it. So and we want to go all the way to the end of the bulb. So it's almost all the way in. Okay. Kind of knew that was going to happen, huh? Okay, give that a good squeeze. Okay, and then try again. So just put some glue there, and I'm just going to hold that there for a moment while we'll come back to that while we get on and do the next one. So this one is going to go above everything, and I'm going to use the one which was cut because it's kind of at the top towards the back, so you want the pointed end, pretty sure, more pointed end. Just trying to see. I have to be honest with you, it's not very good photographs on this, so right, so we want the more pointed end to be going outwards, which means we want that one in first. No, the other way. I had it right. So I'm just using the wire that we had to cut for making the banner. I can't even remember what day that was. Either maybe the second, maybe the first. Ooh, get rid of that. And then you want it this one this way. And then we're just going to put some B7000 to hold it in. It doesn't really need it for this one, it's quite a tight fit, but it will need it for this one. Oops. Get that sorted down there. And that will go all the way down to the bottom. Like so. And this is going to go directly on the wall, so it can sit like that for a moment. And this one is, we need to do some paper elements, so I've got a couple of paper elements to do, so I'm going to get those all out the way and done at the same time and get everything cut out and show you once it's all cut out and it's on the board. So this one's got a hole in it, so this one goes on here. I need to cut that out. This we're doing something different with. along with some pieces of wood, as you can see in there, and a light. And then we also need to put some paper on this one, and we're going to need this as well in a little bit, but not yet, although I will be doing that. And I'm going to make the birdhouse. So let me get all those cut out, ready to go, and then I'll show you what we're doing. So this one is to colour, so I'm just going to put it on the blank side, so on the inside of it when it turns around, because it'd be kind of facing the coffee shop, then you'll be able to see that side as well, so it'll look okay. So I'm going to get that on, leave it, and then I'll cut it out. This one I've already done. Right, so first of all, this little coffee sign, what we're going to do is put these two blocks on either end, which they just about fit. So even though it's paper and wood, I think I use wood glue. So you want one on each end. So we'll start there. I'm going to get that in now. It's because it started to have a build up on the inside of the nozzle now. Just make sure it's as close to the edge as you can. It does not have to be perfect. Well, you just don't want it over the edge, really. It could be on the inside even a little bit more than it is. So like that, and that can sit there. This I have not cut out yet, so I will. It won't be very dry. It's got some dried glue on it already. Right, okay, but it should be okay. Oops, go on the wood. Don't go on the wood. I should also remove my paper. And I can see that there's a great big glob of glue here, and that's just not going to make it easy to go through. Don't do that. In the scheme of things, it's not overly going to show, but still, it's a silly thing to do. Lack of control of the blade. Okay, then we have a hole here. This is what the light is going to go through. It's going to be none of those. There it is. So you want to poke you want it on this side, you want to poke the wires through here, and then this will go along a piece of wood in a little bit, and then you want this to go down like this. So I'm going to use a bit of Bondic, but equally you could use a bit of glue and it would work the same. And for Bondic, if you do use Bondic, it's good for wiring. I mean, we'll be using it a few times on this model to get the wires in the right spot. I do have more of these cartridges if it is running out, which it might be. Oh, here it comes. It was just hadn't woken up. And then this uses a UV to keep in place. Okay, all done. Nice and quick. And then what we're going to do with this is that piece here, which won't be dry yet, is we are just going to put over the top, like so. So that already twisted out of shape. Ruined my paper, I have. Okay, I need to sort that pin out. And you just want it roughly in the middle, and this is going to have the light then behind it, which is kind of cool. Go a little bit more that way. going to go back. I'll go back a fair way actually. Try and make it even on these sides. Alright, and that's what it end up looking like, and that's ready to put in. Let me drop it. That's ready to put onto the build. If I stop messing with it. Alright, now we'll make our little birdhouse quick. So it's got dotted lines on here to click on. And we have a wooden top for it. So let's get that glued in there. And the wooden part just goes on the top there. This. So I'm just going to use a bit of, I'll just use tacky glue I think. That will work just as well. And I'll be needing that bonding again for that ceiling as well. So something like so. Kind of cute little birdhouse, so that can go over there. Okay, so back to doing this. So what we have to do, like I say, is just wrap this wire around. So I'm going to get and do that because I want to try and get this done today on the video, and I don't want to take too much time with you watching me run a wire around and round in circles. Alright, so I also put these little pieces, that rope stuff, I just put on there. That's going to be our door for our battery box. Then we are going to put this light in the middle of here, and I'm going to weld that going to this corner. I was going to do it to the other corner for a second. So let's get that it wants to take. So I might even have to use super glue for this. Let's try tacky. And some welding. So I'm going to get that welded. You just saw me use the Bondic, so I imagine you've probably got a good idea. So I used 3 pieces of weld going along there, and I think my tacky glue is going to hold it. Like I say, you can use other types of glue. So let me bring our build back in, and we will get this light put in first. Get rid of these. They can go to the small storage area. I'll be back. Alright, so this particular light is just going to go on here, like so. And the wire will just run around the side. In fact, again, just go down the hole, I think, because it's not going to, this model doesn't actually have a roof, so, and I am going to super glue this one, because I want it to stay in place. Although super glue is not my favourite, I kind of know where this is going. Like so. Just hold that a moment. I also tilted it a little bit so it's kind of like pointing downwards, like onto the signs, so that will work. Alright, I'm going to go and start to get some of the wood pieces now, and then we'll put this ceiling part in. Alright, so this actually feels quite flimsy to me, so I'm going to use, I don't like to use it, wood glue for this particular part. This is the one we did like that, and it kind of goes on the side of the house, and that's kind of going to be one of the main supports. Well, it's not particularly a support, but it's what you build from. Well, that's a bit tall, isn't it? They both are. Hold on, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Alright, both of these I put on wrong. So they are kind of shaped like this, but if you can't see that. Alright, so they are shaped like this, but what you want is the flatter side, so it's curving downwards, and then it will work. So I'm just gonna, because of speed, just use a bit of super glue on this, even though it'd taken all that time to dry. Again, beauty of wood glue. If you do it wrong, now we're just going to go with, it's going to go right. So I'll pop that there and let that take a moment to hold. And then we have one more piece here, and that's going to go on here. So I'm going to get that put in so it's out the way and I don't forget it. And again, I'm just going to do this with super glue. Maybe it should go that way. And all the rest are doing the downward slant. It's very difficult to tell from the photos of what way these things go on in reality. I'm going to hold that. Alright, so that one's taken. These should all work now. Like I said, I'm just going to use super glue, make sure that it takes quick. For this anyway, not for everything, to be honest with you. I think this one's running out. That's better, isn't it? So it looks like it almost goes to the edge, which mine doesn't. Well, it does if it goes down like that. Questioning myself here. Oh, it's meant to go to the edge. Ow. Okay, we'll just have it a little bit lower then. Okay, next, I'm not going to put this one until last, the other one of this one. That carries on the other side and it'll just be in the way right now. So this piece with the, let me switch around. So this piece with the frame is going to go next to it, but not touching. Oops, stay there, mate. Not touching. So I'm going to do that with wood glue because it's going to need some manoeuvrability. And then the floor is going to go on top of this. That floor we did with the light will go on top of it. Puppy's running around right now. This is never going to stay, is it? Do then is a different way. We'll do the floor first. I think because this would be moving, that would put a bit of glue on this. Super glue, I mean. A bit dangerous, at least on that side. On this side, maybe not. And then this will sit on that piece that I was trying to put on. Make sure your wires don't get in the way and it's above the sign. That's a nice tight fit. And that's reasonably straight before hopefully the glue takes. And this goes underneath, like so. So this needs to be a bit higher, so hopefully it hasn't wanted to take. No, I wish I hadn't put super glue on the back there. So I'm going to making a pickle of this. So this goes somewhere like so. So it's on it, and then push that back under a bit better. Sorry, I'm not seeing very much of the eye. So it goes like something like that. I'm not going to push it particularly hard right now because I want to make sure I get the rest of it in place beforehand. So then we get two strips, a long one and a short one, and we want the longer one to go on the end here, and that's going to hold against the other platform. And I'm going to move this out a little bit more because I can see that floor. So like so. See what I mean about using wood glue? I mean, I kind of wish that I hadn't used super glue at the back there in reality, but I did. And then this one, which I'm not going to use super glue for, just goes on the end here, and this is like our little spacer basically. Huh, interesting. That one reaches the top okay, just the first one. Weird. I don't know. So this one, like we got here, reaches up to the top, whereas that first one does not, and I don't know why. It's not like it got cut or anything like that. So, and then this can have a little bit of glue on to hold against the wall. Can't see it. Oh, it's very difficult to position this so that you can see. So that goes along there to make sure it holds down. This is actually, I think I'm going to clamp this because it wants to come up. Grab a clamp. Alright, pop that on. If I can. Oh, that we didn't want to do. Alright, so there's 3 more pieces that I really need to do. Bear with me, puppy now needs me. Alright, like I was saying, so we're going to put a strip of wood, this strip here, in between here as a brace. Then we have this to do, this piece here that we made, and that's going to go at the front here, like so, in between the 2 long ones. Not catching that very well. Like this, so that go in between them, give a bit of extra support, and the wire will run along here, this strip, which is very wobbly right now. I managed to get this fixed. I hadn't had it tight enough on this corner, and I also had a label missing from this far one, and I don't know, you can just about see it now. I've put it in, it said pastries, you can't really see it, so it doesn't matter. And I did notice that where that milk one is, right at the back, the blue milk, I should have done a red one as well, but I'm not going to redo that and put it in. Okay, right, let me get these strips done and I will show you what I've done. And the other thing that I'm going to do is put a ladder in, this ladder here, and I'll show you what I'm doing with that, and attach this battery door. So let me get that done. Alright, so those bits are done. So I've got the little plinth going along here done. This is in, this is in, the wiring's done, and just going into the hole back here. Weird it doesn't have a roof on this, but it does not. although it has a dust cover which is see-through. Also pop this door on and just pulled all the wires to the outside for now, so I know they're all accounted for. And obviously I've got a little bit of give with some of these, that I can pull them a bit tighter, just going to give the weld a little bit longer to set. So this is together. So now what we have to do is decorate the top, put some doors on the front, which I'll do last, or almost last, and then put all our plants in that we made. So going to get all that stuff together and make a start. Alright, so the first thing we are going to put in is our little table, and you want that light, this piece here, to be kind of on the back, and then the wire is going to go straight out from there underneath the window and across the back and then up where this other one is here. So let me get that done. Right, that was done. Wasn't the easiest to get at, to be honest. So next we are going to put in the big bookcase, and that's going to go along the back wall, and by the side of it, if I can fit it in, and by the side of it will go the blue one that we made, this one with the pretty flower. So let me get those done. So it will be like that. Next we have the two chairs to go in, so let me do that. So something like so, with the remaining book sitting on the chair, because it's a thing. And so from the front it looks like that. So one of them's drinking a coffee and one's reading a book on plants. And then you've got the other book, which is readable, which you can just see through the window, well, you can see through the chair, and you can see it open. And you can flick through the pages. Alrighty, so that's all done. Now we are down to putting the plants in. So all I've done is put two in right now. I'm going to go and do these doors at the front. So what you want is for one of the doors, this one over here, to be pointing outwards like this, and then the same this side, a little bit more of an angle or more open, and then basically have them concertinaed, so it go like this, like a V, a small V, not as big as that I've got there. So I'm going to go and get that done. I will show you, and I'll get the plants done on this corner as well. Alright, so that's kind of how I did this side. It's not dry yet, so I'm a bit nervous about lifting it, but something like that. Like I say, I think it's down to a vine plant. I think it's down to yourself really, how you want to decorate it, but something like that is roughly what they have in the book, I think. Alright, so this is what I ended up doing as far as the plants go. So I think it looks alright. This one here is going to be interesting. I'm probably going to have to bend this up actually, because when you put the case, because this one comes with a dust cover, it's going to be in the way. Along with, so I use see-through corners for my dust covers, and I'm probably not going to have time to do it to show you. So it fits in all the corners just, except for this far back one, so I'll be leaving it off of those, but I will certainly have them on all the top ones, so it'd work. Anyway, let's get to this wiring. So basically we want to bunch up all the grey ones, and that will go with the red wire on here. Now if you can do it, which I can't so well, is you want to be able to just twist them together, and they give you some tape which can go around it. I'm just not very good with that, so I tend to use wire nuts for it. So let me get those done, and I'll show you once I've done one of them. Alright, so if you end up using wire nuts, just make sure it's tight as possible. So there are 4 grey wires and 4 white wires, so just make sure you have all of them is twisted nice and tight. Let me get and do the other ones, and we will see what it looks like. Oh, and I'm doing it on the outside because some of these wires are really short, and then I'm just going to drop the box into here, and you're meant to be able to access it this way to do your batteries and stuff. So assume we can still do that, and you're also meant to trim these wires, but they're not particularly long. Make sure you have enough end here. This is going to be reasonably hard to see. Let's see. if I can show you, enough wire open at the end to be able to tie it around. There you go, you can see it now. Okay, and once you've got your wires, you put your batteries in, and you gives you a little screw to put onto your case. So I will get that done. I will drop it in and we will test it. Alrighty, so this is where the box is. I just dropped them in. Really, it could probably do with a tidy up of the wires. I'm probably not going to, but you could probably just take them down so it doesn't look as ratty up the top. But I'm gonna not do that. Oh, my spider plant fell off. That needs better glue. Okay, alright, let's see what we got, if it's going to work, if I can get the battery box out enough to do it. Okay, alright, let's see if they'll work. Where's the button? Can't find the button. Oh, it's at the bottom. Okay, we have lights. And this is what we end up looking like. So it seems quite dark in the bottom here. I thought it would have been lighter. Oh, I guess it's okay. And then you've got that. Now, I will take another video of this at night, I think, would be better. So, anyway, it is going, it is working, and I will take a add-on video at the end, and you can see it at night time. And this is how it looks now. It's a bit darker. As you can see, it's rather stunning. Just stick this down. And you can see through the top there. It's really cool. And on the side as well. See all the way through. Looks a lovely place to sit in the evening. And then also from this side, you can see all the way as the battery falls out. So it's all rather beautiful at night time. And that was it. That is our coffee house. How wonderful is that? So thank you very much for being with me for this build. I hope you have enjoyed it. Let me just prop that up for you again. And I will get out what our next build's going to be. And I think what we're going to do next is swing clock. It's not that many pieces, so it's probably going to be quite a quick build, 33, so very quick. So it's going to be quite small, probably a bit bigger than the piano I did, but nevertheless still quite small, so tune in to see that. So like I say, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the build. Please do remember to like and subscribe, but most of all, do take care of yourselves. Take care, everyone. Bye bye now.